the second to last day, my bike broke down on Hammer Springs. And that was the end of the ride. But the story actually starts 10 days earlier. This trip had been sitting in the back of our minds for a while. 10 days in the South Island, chasing some of the best gravel roads in the country. My good friend Murray and I had been riding together for years. Adventure riding is something he's been doing for a while, and I'm still quite new to it. The plan was simple: head south, link together as many legendary South Island adventure roads as we could, and see where it took us. Rainbow, the Nevis, Skipper's Canyon, Molesworth, basically a greatest hits list of South Island riding. What we didn't know yet was just how much of an adventure it would really turn into. The first couple of days were mostly about getting ourselves to the South Island. Riding down to Wellington, ferry across Cook Strait, then up from Picton to Nelson. Somewhere on that first ride south, my engine check light came on. The bike was still running okay, so we kept going. But it was a little reminder that once you leave home, anything can happen. In Nelson, we caught up with a mate. He spent the day showing us around some of his local trails, which was the perfect way to ease into the trip. We also stopped by a local CFMoto dealer, who plugged the bike in and traced the issue to a map sensor fault. They didn't have the part in stock, so there wasn't much we could do except keep riding and see how it behaved. And that's exactly what we did. Day 3 was where the trip really began, Rainbow Road. It runs from St. Arnaud down to Hammer Springs, and it's really one of those rides that reminds you why you do this. River crossings, long gravel valleys, mountains on both sides. It's the kind of place where you end up stopping a lot, partly for photos, and partly just to take it all in. That morning, the bike actually died pulling out of the motel. We spent about half an hour on the side of the road trying to figure out what was going on, and then, for no obvious reason, it started again. From there it ran most of the day, although a few times it lost power and came back again. Not ideal, but the adventure continued. That night, the weather closed in. We stayed in Christchurch and waited for it to pass. The next morning started cold, about 5 degrees and hail. We stopped in at CMG Motorcycles, who confirmed the map sensor issue and sorted things out for us under warranty, which was a massive help. By about midday, we were finally on the road again. From Christchurch, we started heading deeper inland, through places like Black Forest Station, Benmore Dam, and down towards Central Otago. The scenery down here is unreal. Big open country, endless gravel roads, and hardly anybody around. It's the kind of riding where you just settle into the rhythm of the road and watch the landscape roll past. Around Queenstown, we met up with another good mate and spent a couple of days based there. From there, we ticked off some of the most famous rides in the South Island: the Nevis Valley, Skipper's Canyon, Hawksburn Road. Day 7 was where the trip started throwing a few curveballs. First up was my moment of brilliance trying to get up the Mount Kyburn track. I put my foot down and there was no ground. In almost slow motion, the bike fell and I ended up in a bush. I wasn't hurt, but Murray had already gone ahead, so I had time to sit and think about my life choices before he came back and helped me out. Not long after that, Murray's rear wheel bearing completely seized about 90 minutes out of Timaru. That meant a tow truck and a later than expected arrival. But the next morning we tracked down the right bearing, fitted it, and got the bike back on the road. Somehow the trip just kept rolling. That's part of adventure riding. Things break, plans change, you fix what you can, and keep going. We pointed our bikes north again, aiming for Hanna Springs. But the adventure wasn't quite done with us yet. Day 9 was supposed to be the ride back through Molesworth Station, one of the most iconic gravel roads in the country. Instead, my bike decided it wanted some attention too. Heading out of Hanna Springs, it started leaking coolant, and at about the same time, the rear wheel bearing started seizing. We managed to limp back down to a service station in Hanna, and that was the end of the ride for me. Murray headed back up the Molesworth towards our accommodation in Picton. From there, for me, the trip turned into a bit of a logistical adventure. Tow truck to Christchurch, leave the bike with my brother, rental car to Picton for the night, ferry to Wellington, flight to Auckland, then finally a ride home back to Hamilton. Not quite the ending we'd planned, but better for it to happen on the 9th day than the first one. Honestly, that's not what I remember about the trip. What sticks with me is the riding. Some of the best roads I've ever ridden. I also learned a lot. I'm still quite new to adventure riding. I find it quite challenging at times, and Murray's one of those people that always seems to be able to do it effortlessly. He was patient the whole way through, waiting when I needed it, helping when things went wrong, and just quietly making sure the trip kept moving. I couldn't have asked for a better riding buddy. Trips like this remind you of why you ride in the first place. It's not just the places you go, it's the people you share the road with. And despite everything that went wrong, I'd do it all again tomorrow.